بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء وسيد المرسلين وخاتم النبيين الحبيب المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين وصحابته الكرام المنتجبين. In the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful, may the praise be all to God, the Lord of the universe, and may all the peace and blessings be upon all the prophets, especially the greater prophet of Islam, Prophet Muhammad, and upon his purified progeny and the believers of his companions. And may the peace and blessings be upon all of you, dear brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We continue with our Quran study. We come to the end of chapter 49. Today, I will read verse number 16, and hopefully we'll finish the chapter today, verse 18, inshallah. I read the Arabic, and Muhammad will read the English. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. قل أتعلمون الله بدينكم والله يعلم ما في السماوات وما في الأرض والله بكل شيء عليم.
We seek refuge in Allah from Shaitan. Say, do you teach God about your religion when God knows all that is in the heavens and all that is on earth, and God is aware of all things?
So remember previous verses when it said قالت الأعراب آمنا. A group of nomad Arabs came to the Prophet and said, we are believing, we are basically members of the faithful community. God responded by telling the Prophet what to tell them, and to tell them that don't say you have that the faith has occupied your heart. Just say you have embraced the faith of Islam, the religion of Islam, yet it will take time for the faith to occupy your heart. It seems that they insisted that they, in fact, now they believe, now they are very practicing faithful members. Again, this verse is responding to them. That do you teach God what He knows about your level of faith? Because God knows everything in this universe, and God knows what is in your heart. So are you teaching God about the level of your, this is a sarcastic way of responding to them, because they insisted in front of what God is saying. The verse says, وَاللَّهُ يَعْلَمُ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ. God knows everything that is in heaven and also on earth, including the thoughts, including what is going on in our minds and in our hearts. Though we might not express it, God knows about it. This is an area that belongs to the attribute of God. We talk about this, we learn about this because the Quran is teaching us the knowledge of God. It is good to talk about this more, give it some more details, the knowledge of God, how God informed us or taught us about His own knowledge. You know, what is the difference between the knowledge of God and the knowledge of the prophet or any human? We should know that. The prophet or any human, they earn their knowledge. So there was time that the Prophet or any human did not know about anything, then they got to learn. In the case of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, God taught him this knowledge. So he earned it, he learned it from another source, not from him. While with God, there was no time ever that knowledge was separated from God. So this is what we say, that knowledge is actually, belongs to God, and there is no separation. It is part of himself. These attributes are part of God, and they are not separated of God. In Arabic, it's called dhati, ilm dhati. Nobody taught Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala anything. That's his own knowledge, and there was no time ever, if we can imagine, that knowledge was separated from God. So this is for example, the Prophet would tell us, Jesus will come back again, or Imam Mahdi will come back in the future. And this is, in fact, some knowledge that is not available for others. Where the Prophet got this, he got it from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not his own. But the knowledge of Allah belongs to him, and he knows, including everything he knows that is happening, that happened and will happen in the future. He also knows what is going in our minds, the intentions, niyyah, nawaya, the intentions. He knows the intentions. Humans cannot know the intentions. We see the acts. Somebody gives you a gift. You see this act, you receive the gift, you see the act, but you do not know the intention of that person. Hopefully, his intentions are very good, but God knows about these intentions. This is why God is the best to judge people, because he sees the acts, he knows about them, and he also knows the intentions of people. This is why he is the best to judge people, because he knows in and out of everything. Then the verse ends with that, all surely, wallahu bikulli shay'in alim, and God is all aware about everything. A sentence before, the verse said God knows about everything in the universe and about everything on earth, which basically everything in this universe, all right? But added, God knows and he is aware about everything. He already mentioned the universe. Why is mentioning everything? This drives some commentator to say, absolutely, there is something even beyond our universe. God himself, nobody knows about everything about God except himself. So God knows about the universe and what is beyond the universe, which includes himself as well. All right. The next verse number 17. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يمنون عليك أن أسلموا قل لا تمنوا علي إسلامكم بل الله يمن عليكم أن هداكم للإيمان إن كنتم صادقين.
They make it a favor upon you that they have embraced Islam. Say, count not your Islam as a favor to me, rather it is God who has done you a favor by guiding you to the faith, if indeed you are sincere.
Again, remember in the previous verses that a group of Arab nomads came to the Prophet, and they in fact made their embracing Islam as a favor they are doing to the Prophet. You know, oh, we are doing you a favor by us accepting the faith. So God responded and told the Prophet to tell them here in this verse, do not regard the fact that you embrace the religion of Islam as a favor to me. I'm not going to benefit out of your faith. God will not benefit out of your faith. Yourself will benefit. You will benefit out of embracing this faith, the faith of Islam. In fact, you should be thankful to God that He sent messengers, and especially He sent the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam with a message of Tawheed, worshiping God and God alone, abandoning the idols. He saved you. He guided you to the right path and the common sense. You should be thankful to that. So this verse, in fact, reminds us about the blessings of God when He sent His prophets throughout history, and the seal of the Prophet Muhammad, with a message to guide us and to teach us, to teach humanity about what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is evil. This is something that helped us, guided us in a state of leaving us in the dark. And then we come to the final verse. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن الله يعلم غيب السماوات والأرض والله بصير بما تعملون.
Surely Allah knows the unseen of the heavens and the earth, and Allah is all-seeing of what you do.
So God is all aware of what is unseen. The word unseen is a translation of the word ghaib. Ghaib. However, ghaib needs a further explanation. It's not just by one word. What is ghaib? You see, brothers and sisters, humans, there are two facts about human knowledge. One fact is that their knowledge is limited. We do not know. All humans today, all humans, scientists, scholars, gather their knowledge together, yet the amount of their knowledge, what they know, is considered very small to what they do not know. So their knowledge is very limited, and this is in one concept. The other concept is that they might know later about something in the future, just like us. We know a little bit more than people who lived 500 years ago or even 20 years ago, because science is discovering new things every day. For example, today nobody knows, it seems, look like it, that nobody knows about a remedy for COVID-19. Scientists, people, humanity may or may not know about a remedy in the future. Maybe in 6 months they will know, or they may not know at all. Today, we do not know whether there is life outside this earth or not. Maybe in the future, we will know, or maybe not, we will not know. So this is an example of how human knowledge is limited. Another characteristics of a human knowledge is their ability to know and understand is limited as well. You see how much humanity have advanced throughout history through knowledge, and a huge amount of knowledge they have acquired and discovered, which means they have a lot of capability to know. However, there are still areas that humans are not able to understand. Let me give you an example first about animals. You know, the ability of animals to learn is limited. If you teach an animal how to fly an airplane, I really doubt that an animal can fly an airplane, though you might spend hours and maybe years to teach an animal how to fly an airplane or how to make an airplane. It is beyond their capacity, beyond their ability. Same with the humans. We are at the top hierarchy of creatures in this universe. I think so. So far that we know. Maybe we'll discover another creations who would not know better than us in the future. But so far, with the creations that we know around us, humans are top in their ability to understand things. But there are areas they cannot understand. Now, how can a human understand things beyond time and space? Our brain is created in association with time and space. Understand things in terms of time and space. Beyond that, beyond time and space, our brain cannot understand. Another thing, how from no matter, no material, a material is created. Our brain cannot understand that. We know this happened. We know this happened. You know, they say Big Bang was created out of nothing. Then the universe was created. But how? How? We cannot understand this. That from no matter, no material, the universe was created. Today, you know, humans build cars out of metals, for example. They create furniture out of wood and cotton and fabrics, and so on and so forth. There are materials that they turn it into a product or a merchandise. But God has created the universe out of nothing, and our brain cannot understand this. So these are two areas that are characteristics of a human: limited knowledge and limited capability of understanding. Now, what people cannot understand is called ilmul ghayb, the unknown. The unknown. Some of them are unknown right now. We do not know if there is life in this universe beyond this earth. We do not know. Maybe in a million years, people who will come later, they will know. This fact for us is unknown. God knows. This is, what we cannot we do not know. We do not have the information. And for things that we are not able to know, this is also unknown. God knows. So you see, this is an area. Ilmul ghayb is what is beyond our limited knowledge and beyond our capability to understand. This is ilmul ghayb. God knows everything. Now you may ask why we should know about these details. Why they are so important that we know about all of these details about God knowledge, about God justice. And this is only one attribute. We are not touching other attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Maybe in the future we will have a series of discussions and studies of God attributes: His justice, His mercy, His forgiveness, His wisdom, all of that. His power. We will talk about that. we are only talking about his knowledge. You might say, what is this, why it is significant for us to know? The answer, brothers and sisters, is that we are worshiping God. If we are worshiping God, then we should know about him. We should know about the one that we are worshiping. Worshiping someone we do not know does not make sense. We should know about God and his power, his attributes. So our worship gets a meaning. And Imam Ali alayhi salam says, أول الدين معرفته. The first step in religion and faith, the first letter, the letter A, alpha, in religion is to know God before you go into other details, to know who you are worshiping. And God, the God we worship, not only we worship him, he is also the source of all the blessings we receive. He gives us a blessing, so we better know him. We better know his generosity. He is the source of rewarding and punishing and forgiving as well. So if he is the one who is rewarding us, if he is the one who is punishing those wrongdoers, if he is the one that he might forgive us and forgive the wrongdoers, then it is better to get to know him. And on top of all of that, he is judging us not right now, and he will judge us on the day of judgment as well. So it is crucial for us to know him as much as we can. We will not know everything about God, of course, because we already mentioned it is beyond our capacity to understand him in every aspect. We know what he has told us about based on our capability of understanding. So we know it is better for us to understand him as much as we can, because this will create a meaning for your worship. Now that you know him better, your worship gets the right value. Now I pray to the one who knows everything about me. He knows my attention. He knows what I am thinking about. He knows about my concerns, about my worries, about what makes me happy, what makes me sad. I'm worshiping that one whose knowledge is unlimited. This is who I'm worshiping. It gives me meaning to my worship. It makes people more attached to this God because he is the source of the blessings. He has the power to resolve everything that we are facing. By this, brothers and sisters, we come to the end of this chapter and to the end of our Qur'an study during this noble and great and generous month of Ramadan. It was so pleasing to spend with you every night a few minutes to study the Quran together. If you have a question or a comment, please present them, and then we'll inshallah make a short prayer and end our program for today.
Quran lessons. So the daily ones are not going to be continuing, but would you be holding, if there is confinement continuing, would you be holding it on Thursdays as you used to?
Yes, we are planning inshallah to return to our Quran study, the normal schedule before Ramadan. However, since now we are still, it seems still in lockdown, we'll continue to having it on Zoom. If the authority allowed us to get to meet in person with maintaining social distances, like 2 or 3 yards between each one, we might be able to hold it at the center and then also have it available on online, inshallah.
Thank you.
Seyed Ali, I got a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
I was wondering whether or not you might do some sort of presentation for the Eid prayer on Saturday morning.
Can I share the whole program?
Yes.
On the day of Eid, which will be Sunday actually, not Saturday,
Okay.
we have at, not in the morning, but at 6 p.m. We did send out the newsletter and post it on our sites. I will be sending more. We're going to
Okay.
have a time from, and I hope all of you get to join us. You've been with us every night at 6. At 6 o'clock, we'll gather from 6 to 6:30, where we're asking you guys to get dressed up for Eid with your families and make a dessert that you can share online. We can talk about and have some fun and social time where everybody will get about 30, every screen will get about 30 seconds to say Eid Mubarak to the community. So we'll get to interact with each other. And then from 7 to 7:30, 6:30 till 7 will be an Eid message from Seyed Ali, kind of like the Eid khutbah, but it will be in the evening and not at the prayer. And then from 7 till 7:30, we will have online trivia, a game, like a game show setup with prizes for the top 3 contestants, families. So we'll have a fun time together, but in the evening.
All right. Thank you, Raza.
Yes, so we will have an event for Eid, inshallah. It's a social event afternoon, inshallah. Hopefully you will join us.
Thank you. All right.
All right. If there is no question or comment, I would like to make a short dua and end our session, inshallah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد. Almighty Allah, we ask you to accept this from us and reward us for the effort that we have been doing to learn more of your word and your revelation and the message of the Qur'an. Almighty Allah, we ask you to reward our community, reward them for their devotion, for their fasting, for their prayers, answer their prayers. We ask you, Almighty God, that this month never ends without you generously responding and answering the prayers of our community. Almighty Allah, we ask you to make the Quran a source of healing for us. Almighty Allah, we ask you to make the Quran a source of guidance for us. Almighty Allah, we ask you to make the Quran a source of good teaching for us and a source of inspiration so we get to practice the teachings of the Quran. Almighty Allah, we ask you not to make this Ramadan the final Ramadan of our life. Enable us to observe and celebrate many, many Ramadan to come together with our community. Protect our community, protect the world from this pandemic. Those who are ill and sick, give them total healing. Almighty Allah, we ask you for the sake of the Quran, for the sake of Prophet Muhammad and his household, to give total healing for those who are fighting with COVID-19, those who are fighting with cancer. Many, unfortunately, have called and asked for prayers for their healing. They are fighting with cancer or diabetes or mental illnesses or variety of other illnesses, psoriasis and arthritis and other form of illnesses. We ask you, Almighty Allah, before Ramadan ends, give them all total and complete healing, Almighty Allah. Those who passed away, shower their soul with your mercy and your blessings. Give their family strength and power and patience and rewards. Almighty Allah, we ask you to protect our youth, our young and our children from all evil things and especially from Satan. Almighty Allah, we ask you, those who are facing hardship during this time, help them, support them, give them your blessings and find a way for them to get rid of this hardship. And finally, I ask you, Almighty Allah, in the name of the Quran and for the sake of the Prophet Muhammad and his household, to enable the world to get rid of this pandemic as soon as possible. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It was so good to be with you during this month. May inshallah this month ends with the greater blessings for you, brothers and sisters.
Thank you, Seyed Ali. Assalamu alaikum, everybody.
Thank you.
See you all Sunday, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Thank you. خیلی ممنون. مرسی.
Thank you.